Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Conejo Oaks Baseball here at Sparky Anderson Field. I'm Josh Mechanick, joined by Austin Gregory, Sammy Holladay, and Camera Deck will be joining us later on as the Oaks take on the Arroyo Seco Saints for the second game of a mini two-game set this weekend. Last night's game one was taken in dominant fashion by the Saints, who won on their home turf 16-3. Really took control of that one with an 8-run fourth inning. And now the Oaks are looking to bounce back here at their home ballpark with Alexander Rivas on the mound to face this Saints lineup. Lineup by the Saints is led by Connor Bradshaw hitting leadoff, followed by Max Blessinger and Chase Meagers. Then Raider Tello's the cleanup hitter once again with Preston Godfrey back in there. Mason Hammond is playing shortstop, batting 6th. Roberto Gonzalez bats 7th. Jack Hammond, the first baseman, is the 8 hitter with Jared Quant, the designated hitter, rounding things out for the Saints. Well, Sammy, we were down there in Pasadena yesterday. Just about everything went wrong for the Oaks from the third inning on, but they have to flush that today and bounce back. And how do you expect them to do that today?
Well, it's just a case of look at the game from yesterday, get the tape, burn it, forget about it, and move on to the next game. It's just got to just do all the fundamentals. Just play defense. Make a good throw, catch the ball, take some pitches, work counts. Really something that they did the previous 2 games, but just yesterday it was just a couple of mistakes and it just snowballed and really turned into a bit of an avalanche and the team got pretty overwhelmed.
And with the bounce back win today, the Oaks can really try to prove that yesterday was just a blip as they came out firing in the first 2 games out of the showcase break, winning 2 straight. Then with the loss yesterday, got to come back today and just be competitive if you're the Oaks. They find themselves a half a game out of that last playoff spot coming into play today, so they got some work to do. Alexander Rivas falls behind the count 2-0 to Connor Bradshaw, who we saw yesterday have himself a day, nearly hitting a home run, hitting one off the wall in right field. So he rolls that one foul, 2-1. The Saints offense exploded yesterday for 16 runs, had 20-plus hits as well. And that was after having the first 8 batters sent down by Blake Riley. But in that third inning, they sparked their offense and kept it going for the remainder of the game. Rivas throws a changeup on 2-1 that drops in the zone for a strike. 2-2 the count. To Bradshaw, who's hitting .355 this summer. The Saints' top half of the order is loaded with a lot of productive hitters. 2-2 is swung on a miss. Francisco tags Bradshaw, and Alexander Rivas starts off the game with a strikeout. Rivas showcasing his signature pitch, that changeup. Prefers to throw that versus the left-handed batters and throws it a couple times there to Bradshaw, getting the strikeout with it as well. Brings up Max Blessinger, 2-hitter today, just like he was yesterday. Great day yesterday at the plate for Blessinger, and great summer for him up to this point, hitting .360. That one misses upstairs. Blessinger's one of many guys for the Saints that's hitting over 300 this summer. They have 7. Also one of 4 guys hitting above 350. So this offense has really gotten it going this summer. And with that, they found themselves as the 3 seed in the CCL South, although as far as playoff standings go, with the Foresters not counting, the Saints would be the 2nd seed come playoff time if it ended today. Rivas is 1-1. Is lined into left field. It's going to drop in front of Austin Carrillo for a 1-out single.
Something we see a lot out of Blessinger. He's a really good hitter. Just a fun baseball player to watch. Plays all over the outfield. Just a grinder at the plate. See him go down in counts. He also hits all over the lineup. We've seen him hit leadoff for the Saints. 2nd as he is today. Even seen him as low as 9th, but it just doesn't matter. He just always gives you a quality at bat and has really been a thorn in the side of the Oaks this summer.
And now they Saints have a fast runner on first in the form of Blessinger, who won't be shy to steal a base. As Chase Meagers rolls that one to the left side, Leehey goes to second for one, and Schwartzberg can't make the catch. Blessinger heads to third, and some sloppy defense for the Oaks gives the Saints runners the corners with one out. Rivas gets in on the hands of Meagers, who hit that softly over to third, and it was a tough throw for Leehey across his body. And it was just a little bit out of the range of Schwartzberg.
Can't let this affect you too much. Just gotta forget about that one. Get another ground ball here and execute it this time. It's a tough play there. Ball wasn't hit very sharply. Leehey had to run in a little bit too. Off balance throw just pulls Schwartzberg just a hair.
Would have been tough to turn 2 on anyway, but the 1 out would have been nice for the Oaks. And now Rivas has to pitch out of a jam. He's got a very tough bat to face, and that's Raider Tello, who coming into play today is hitting over 400. And he's slugging 500 as well, so that's good for a OPS of nearly 1,000. Been the cleanup hitter for the Saints. Hasn't left the yard with a home run, but been picking up a lot of other extra base hits. There's a great jump from Meagers, and it's hit sharply at Schwartzberg. Gets right through him, and the Saints pick up a run.
Nearly a break right there for the Oaks, as that ball was absolutely crushed off the bat with the runner on the move. Schwartzberg covering the bag was near that ball. It just came in way too hot. You can't really blame him for not fielding that. That would have been a heck of a play right there, and it really would have been very beneficial for Alexander Rivas.
Yeah, the Oaks were nearly gifted a double play ball there, but it was just hit too hard off the bat of Tello. The Saints take a quick 1-0 lead.
Initially ruled an error on the scoreboard, but for me, that's a hit all day.
Rivas throws a changeup to Preston Godfrey, who swings on top of it.
Even if Schwartzberg really got down and just tried to knock it down, I think that ball would have still had so much velocity on it, and it would have just bounced off of him, and it wouldn't have resulted in an out.
Saints are still threatening for more with first and second and 1 out. Godfrey swings through another changeup, 0-2. Godfrey's one of just a few guys that's really struggling for the Saints this summer, hitting just over 200. Has left the yard though, and is one of just a couple guys with double digits RBIs, so it looks like his hits are coming when they matter. The 0-2, swung on and missed. 3 straight changeups for Rivas, 3 straight whiffs. That's his second strikeout of the inning.
And with how good that changeup was against Preston Godfrey, this is where I would like to see Rivas stick with the changeup here, even though Hammonds is a righty. He just struck out a guy, made him look silly on 3 straight pitches. Just trust yourself. Trust your pitch that it's good enough to beat a right-handed batter.
Rivas goes to the breaking ball on the first pitch. That misses up. His 2 secondary pitches, the changeup and the curveball, he throws them against opposite-handed bats. He throws the breaking ball against the right-handed hitters and the changeup against the lefties, but he'll showcase that breaking ball more versus lefties than he will the changeup versus righties. As that one's flown into center field, shallow center. Moyer coming in. It'll be no trouble for him. And Alexander Rivas is out of the first inning. The Saints pick up 1, though, on a hit. 2 hits, if we're generous, and we head to the bottom of the first. 1-0 Saints. Back for the bottom of the first inning. Saints lead 1-0 in this one after they score 1 in the top of the first. The scoreboard here has it as 2 errors for the Oaks and just the 1 knock. We discussed in between innings. We're going to give Tello a hit on that one. 0-1 the count to Mac Moyer. He's the leadoff hitter for the Oaks, as he has been all summer. Facing off against Reese Marley. And Marley this summer, he's got an ERA just over 3.5. That's a really bizarre stat line for him. He's given up 12 runs in 10 innings, but of those 12, just 4 of them have been earned. So his defense has really not helped him out as Moyer rolls that one over softly to the right side. Easy play over there for Jack Hammond. Moyer is followed in this lineup by Zach Schwartzberg and Austin Carrillo. They've been 1, 2, 3 in the lineup for the past few games. Then Brennan Durfee back in the cleanup role with Chris Wright hitting 5th and Drew Smith batting 6th. Then the bottom third is a little change with Dylan Jackson batting 7th, Brady Francisco in the 8th spot, and Nick Leehey rounding things out in the 9 hole. Schwartzberg takes a strike. Yesterday, he started off the day really well with a couple of hits, including a double down the right field line. As he rolls that one up softly to third base, Raider Tello is there. Low throw, dug out by Hammond. That's a quick 2 outs on 4 pitches for Reese Marley to be in the ballgame. We'll bring up Austin Carrillo. Carrillo's found himself now in the 3 spot in this lineup. And this 1, 2, 3 has really been set in stone for the first 4 games since the showcase. It's been Moyer, Schwartzberg, Carrillo, and then some combination of Durfee, Wright, and Smith 4 through 6, with the bottom third switching up. That one's below the zone. 1-1 the count to Carrillo.
We haven't seen Jack Costello since before the showcase game. We wonder if just something is up with him, and that's why Carrillo's hitting third now. As Jack Costello really solidified his spot in the lineup at the 3 hole.
We have yet to receive word as to where Costello has been. 1-2 to Carrillo, misses away.
Yeah, there's been a couple guys missing now, obviously. Sammy mentioned Costello. Day hasn't been here since before the break, and we presume he'll find his way back into the lineup. That's kind of that rotation we've seen at shortstop between now Drew Smith and Schwartzberg. Usually it's been Day, but still no sign of him. And then obviously we have to presume that Eli Payton's done for the summer because we haven't seen him in nearly 3 weeks, I want to say now. So haven't gotten any official confirmation from any of them, but we obviously hope all 3 would be back because those would be 3 great bats to add back to the lineup. But at least one of them returning to the lineup would definitely help out the Oaks.
A 2-2 to Carrillo, swung on a missed. 1-2-3 first inning for Reese Marley. As the Oaks go down in order, we head to the second, 1-0 Saints. Alexander Rivas back out there for the top of the second inning. Face the bottom third of this Saints lineup. Roberto Gonzalez, the second baseman, swings through the first pitch. Gonzalez was the only one of the Saints players that got a cheer during starting lineup announcements. The Saints booed every single one of their players except for Roberto Gonzalez, who they cheered mightily for. And then on the flip side, they cheered every single Oaks player except Nick Leehey, who got booed.
Yeah, that was definitely an interesting one, Josh. Never seen that before. But I guess just some banter from the Saints.
Saints having some fun early after yesterday's 16-3 walloping.
Just guys being dudes.
Yes, sir. Roberto Gonzalez this summer, one of just a couple guys hitting below 200. Just 7 for 38 as he hits that one to the right side of Schwartzberg. Throws over to Durfee for out number 1. That's what Alexander Rivas is known to do, get a lot of ground balls. Didn't produce a ground ball out in the first, but starts off the second with a routine grounder to second base.
And speaking of Durfee, I'm going to be very interested to see how things are handled defensively going forward with him. Obviously, we've known for a few days now, but it's official now on the Oaks roster that Durfee will be transferring out of Cal Lutheran to most likely a Division I school. And now with Bennett Markinson back, we know that there's another option besides just Durf and Brady Francisco to go behind the dish. So we may see Durfee back out there at first more often, especially with the revolving door we've seen out there as of late.
And yeah, they just want to get Durfee as many at-bats as possible with him adding his name to the portal. 0-2 the count on Jack Hammond, who wasn't in the starting lineup yesterday but entered as a pinch hitter late. Rivas gets him to roll over to third, and it actually went off the foot of Hammond. Another one of the guys for the Saints that's hitting at or near 300. 288 average on the season. Not that many extra base hits, just a 327 slug. He looks at a changeup in the dirt, and that's exactly what Sammy was asking for earlier, that righty-righty changeup. But Hammond doesn't bite at that one.
It was a good idea from Rivas. Almost got Hammond to bite at that one. He leaned on the tips of his toes just to hold up from swinging that one.
He rolls that one to the left side. Tough play for Drew Smith, who backhands throws on the run and pulls Durfee off the bag. It'll be an infield single for Jack Hammond.
Oh, and that's one of the advantages of having an elite defensive catcher like Brendan Durfee playing first base today is a lot of times we see guys try and be heroic and try and stretch for that baseball, but Durfee knew there was going to be no chance of a play and just got behind and squared that one off his chest and kept it there rather than having one of those many throws we've seen go past the first baseman this summer for the Oaks.
And for a guy whose primary position is first base, Jack Hammond can really move down that line. The 9-hitter Jared Quant swings and misses at that one. Quant this summer sitting an even 250. But he's been getting on and hitting for some power. His OPS over 800. Dancing off of first base is Hammond, and he gets back on the Rivas pickoff attempt. 4 stolen bases this summer for Jack Hammond. So it looks like the Saints steal a lot of bags. Hammond continues to dance off of first, but he's able to get back in easily both times. The Saints have 6 guys with 5 or more stolen bases this summer, and Hammond's right behind that group with 4. The Oaks don't have a single guy with more than 5. Rivas misses off the plate with a changeup. 1-1 the count to Jared Quant. Rivas looking for a ground ball here, get himself back in the dugout. There was a big jump for Hammond. He decided not to go. This is going to be a tough play as Nick Leehey cuts off Smith and gets
Oh,
Quan at first. Looked to me that Durfee might have pulled his foot off the bag, but the umpire calls him out.
I don't know how Brendan Durfee was able to keep his foot on the bag there. It was an absolutely nightmare of a play for the infield, as it was really in a Bermuda's triangle, so to speak. Rivas couldn't get to it. It was really tough for Smith to get there. Leehey taking control of the situation, fielding and making a strong throw, and may or may not have pulled Brendan Durfee off the bag. The initial call was out, but the Saints coach wants some clarification from the first base umpire and maybe see a conference here.
yeah, I mean, I thought Durf just barely kept his foot on the bag, but I didn't think the throw beat the runner to the bag. So, I mean, we'll see what they decide here, but I would not be surprised if they overturn this one.
Well, usually these conferences don't end in an overturned call very often. Pretty much every single time we've seen one of these, they just stick with the call on the field, but it wouldn't surprise me too much, as a lot of us thought that Durfee might have pulled his foot. But they keep the call on the field, as it's very hard to overturn these calls with 3 umpires just coming together. No video replay or anything like that. The out call remains, so that's the second out of the inning, the second ground out that Rivas has gotten. And now Jack Hammond's out there at second with 2 away. And the leadoff man, Connor Bradshaw, stepping in. Bradshaw went down on strikes back in the first. His second plate appearance in as many innings to begin this ballgame. Rivas wanted to change up the sign, so he steps off. Bradshaw's the leading RBI man for the Saints this summer, as he rips that one to the right side, but Durfee is there, snags it, and takes it to the bag himself, as Rivas gets 3 groundouts here in the second inning. And we head to the bottom half. Oaks still trail 1-0. Bottom of the second, 1-0 Saints. The Oaks went down 1-2-3 in the first on just 9 pitches. A couple of groundouts and a strikeout. It'll be Brendan Durfee to lead things off in the second. He's been cleanup hitter or the 5 hitter in every single game since the showcase. Coming off the showcase where he won the home run derby. And he finds himself in a bit of that post-home run derby champ slump. Seen his average dip just a little bit, but he drives this one out to left center. Blessinger's gonna make the catch. A few feet in front of the warning track. Nice swing there, though, by Brendan Durfee.
Now batting, right fielder, number 32.
Might have been a home run playing in yesterday's ballpark, as Sammy just mentioned to me, with that shallow right-ish center field. Durfee trying to get out of a slump, but that's a great swing to build off of. Now it's Chris Wright, another left-handed bat. Wright, the third of 3 straight lefties hitting in the heart of this Oaks lineup. Carrillo, Durfee, and Wright. Also the leadoff man, Moyer, is a left-handed bat. So 4 of the first 5 Oaks hitters are lefties, even versus the left-handed pitcher, Reese Marley. Wright this summer hitting .240. That one gets in on his hands. Left side, foul territory. Raider Tello makes the catch. 2 quick outs to begin the second. First 2 batters in the first inning were retired on 4 pitches, and the first 2 here in the second are retired on 5. Brings up Drew Smith. Smith takes a first pitch off the plate. Drew this summer is hitting below 200, looking to get it going. That one's nearly the same spot, but getting the strike call is Marley. 1-1. Good work behind the plate there by Meagers. That one's chopped over to shortstop. Hammonds fires across, low throw, and it gets past Jack Hammond into the dugout, and Drew Smith heads to second base. The Oaks catch a break there as Mason Hammonds took too much time, it looked like, and then panicked on the throw and fired well low. That one gets past Hammond, and now the Oaks have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. It's a 2-out RBI opportunity for Dylan Jackson. He hasn't been in the lineup for a couple of days, but pinch ran for Max Audet the other night in OC. He's got a chance to drive in Smith and tie up the score here in the second inning. First pitch is at the knees for a called strike. This summer, Jackson has driven in 5 base runners, hoping to add to that tally. Marley comes home. That one's driven out to deep left field. Going back on it is Godfrey, going back on it, and it's off the wall. Jackson cruises into second base. It's a 1-out double and a tie ball game.
2-out double.
2-out double.
And that swing right there is kind of the Dylan Jackson we've expected and we've seen during batting practice quite a few times. But as we know, he's struggled at the plate quite a few times. But I think the designated hitter role is a big thing for DJ because it allows him to kind of just relax. And rather than making a lot of great plays, which we know he does defensively at first base, I think for him to just DH and focus on hitting, it's really allowed him to just put barrels on baseballs like he did there.
That one off the bottom of the wall in left field as this one's hit down the right field line. Foul. Brady Francisco is just a few feet away from giving the Oaks the lead. He's up there now for the first time today. Francisco doing the catching in today's ballgame. Had the day off yesterday, but caught in Friday's contest against the Riptide. Picked himself up a couple of knocks. Sorry, Thursday's contest against the Riptide. 0-1. Misses down. 1-1.
He did eventually come in on Friday, though, as he pinch hit for Blandino and then was intentionally walked.
Counts even up at 1 on Francisco. Dylan Jackson out there at second. That one's grounded to the right side. Thrown over and making the play is Roberto Gonzalez. That'll do it for the bottom of the second. The Oaks plate 1 on a Dylan Jackson double. And it's a 1-1 score heading into the third. Third inning here, 1-1 the score. The Saints pick up a run in the top of the first, and then the Oaks countered with one in the bottom of the second. The Oaks run will be unearned after the error by the shortstop Hammonds. That looked like it was going to be an inning-ending ground out that Hammonds threw into the dugout, and then Dylan Jackson drove a double into the left center field gap to tie up the ball game. 1-0 to Max Blessinger, who's up there for the second time today. He singled and scored a run back in the first. Blessinger fouls that one off his leg, 1-1. Alexander Rivas picking up 2 strikeouts in the first and then doing what he does best, getting some weak ground outs in the second, 3 ground outs in the second inning. There was a Jack Hammond single sandwiched in there. His 1-1 to Blessinger. It's hitting to right field, sends Chris Wright back a few steps. He's able to make the catch. It's a routine out number 1. Blessinger doing everything he can with that pitch. It was a fastball. It looked like it was off the plate just a little bit, and he drives it out to right field, but right to Chris Wright. He's able to make the catch easily. It's the second flyout by the Saints. Brings up Chase Meagers. He reached on an error, and he lines this one into center field for a hit. Right in front of his Oregon Duck teammate, Mac Moyer. It's a 1-out single for Meagers. It's a great swing there on the first pitch, being aggressive and lining it right back up the middle. Brings up Raider Tello, very dangerous hitter. He had the RBI single back in the first. Controversial call. It was originally ruled an error, but they have discussed and changed that to a hit. It's a play that could have been made, but 98 miles per hour off the bat, giving Zach Schwartzberg the benefit of the doubt, so it was a tough play for him. 2-0 to Raider Tello. Not a hitter that you want to fall behind in the count to. Hitting over 400 this summer. That's only gone up as he had a hit in his first at bat. That one's cued off the end of the bat towards the Saints dugout, 2-1. Tello was looking to drive something on that 2-0 pitch, but got a little too trigger happy and was well early on that pitch and fouled it off the top of the bat. Chase Meagers has been getting an aggressive league over there at first. Rivas picks over.
A shuffling lead as well. Trying to get himself a good jump.
It's clearly something that the Saints teach because pretty much every single one of their base runners that gets on first likes to do that shuffle. As this one's lifted into shallow right center field. Chris Wright makes the sliding attempt and makes the catch. Out number 2. Both outs of this inning have been flyouts to Chris Wright. That one was a bit more difficult as Wright had to run in quite a bit and he's able to slide to make the catch. 2 outs now for Preston Godfrey, who went down on 3 pitches back in the first. And he rolls that one softly to the right side to Zach Schwartzberg. Throws to Durfee. And after the 1-out single, Alexander Rivas gets a couple of weak outs. And we head to the bottom of the third, 1-1. And before we begin the bottom half of the third inning, we just wanted to take a quick moment to thank our generous sponsors. Firstly, of course, the Amateur Baseball Development Group, founded by Mike Sosha, Randy Riley, Kevin Muno, and Amy Ashford. Big part of what we do here at the Oaks is large part due to that group, and also Richardson Sports. Not only are they the official hat sponsor of the Conejo Oaks, but also the entire CCL. And Oaks hats are for sale at the front gate, usually until about the 5th inning of ball games. 1-1 here in the bottom of the third. 4 hits already for the Saints through 3 innings. Just the 1 run to show for it. And the Oaks have just the 1 knock, a double off the wall by Dylan Jackson that drove in Drew Smith, who was aboard via the Mason Hammond's error. And now the only Oak who has yet to hit today, Nick Leehey, steps in for his first plate appearance. After starting this summer very poorly, Leehey has turned it around as of late. Still finds his average not where he wants it to be, but he's got it climbing. Also had some hits in a non-league game that unfortunately doesn't count towards his season average. 1-1 the count to Leehey. Marley's still out there. Just 22 pitches needed to get through the first 2 innings. He's given up the 1 unearned run as Leehey hits that right back up the middle. Actually goes off of second base and into center field for a leadoff single. The trend for Reese Marley continues as coming into this ball game, he'd given up 12 runs on the season with just 4 of them being earned. So 2/3 of the runs that Marley had given up have been unearned. And then today, same thing. First run he gave up was an unearned run after the error by Hammonds allowed Smith to reach with 2 outs. And Dylan Jackson capitalized. It's now the top of the lineup, and Mac Moyer, who grounded out to first, to lead it off for the Oaks. He swings over the top of a lefty-lefty changeup. 1-1 the count. Leehey on first after his leadoff single. And they pick over to Leehey. Not the A move, and Leehey's able to get back standing up. 1-1's away, 2-1. Marley trying to maintain his efficiency in this one. Hasn't thrown more than 13 pitches in an inning, but he's fallen behind Mac Moyer 3-1. Zach Schwartzberg waits on deck. He was a ground out victim back in the first. Zach's locked in on the on-deck circle. The 3-1. It's grounded to second base. On to second for one. Throw's not going to be in time to get Moyer. Ball was not hit very hard, so it would have been a tough turnover there for Gonzalez and Hammond to get Moyer for two.
Just off the bat, you knew there was just no realistic shot at a double play there with Mac Moyer's speed. It was a good play by Gonzalez at second base to field it cleanly. He made a nice strong throw. It was a good turn as well. If it was any other runner, maybe you have a better shot, but Moyer's speed, there's just no way.
Zach Schwartzberg hacking at the first pitch and fouling it back. Grounded out to third back in the first inning, did Zach. Moyer's got a pretty short lead over there at first base. Schwartzberg's now in an 0-2 hole. Marley's one strikeout on this one. Ended the first as he got Carrillo swinging. That was on a slider. See what he goes to. 0-2 to Schwartzberg. It's a fastball up and out of the zone. 1-2 now to Zach.
Schwartzberg, a guy who really provides a lot of energy in that Oaks dugout. Keeps the boys loose. Tries to keep everyone in the game at all times.
Definitely a spark plug for this team. Also plays just about anywhere on the diamond. He's behind in the count 1-2. He fouls that one away. He's able to spoil a changeup there from Marley. Marley's smiling about that one.
Just a guy that you want to have in your lineup, a guy that can maybe get under the skin of the opposing team, a guy who just grinds out at bats. See a lot of foul balls when he's at the plate. Any pitch that's close, he's able to get a piece of it, stay alive, and not afraid to go the opposite way. We saw him yesterday hit an opposite field double his first at bat. Just what you want to see out of a ball player.
He's also a guy who loves to put in that extra work. He's out there taking ground balls after everyone else is done. We saw that today. About 15-20 minutes before game time, Zach was out there with the pancake glove, working with Coach Jose. Marley comes home, and Schwartzberg spoils again. It's the location Marley was looking for with that fastball. Got a little bit of arm side run off the plate, just a tad, and Schwartzberg just does everything he can with it and slaps it foul. As Sammy said, gets under the skin of the other team. I'm sure this has got to be frustrating for Marley, who's executed some great pitches that Schwartzberg has fouled off. Another 1-2. This time he gets him. Finally goes to that slider, and it's down at the back foot of Schwartzberg. Perfectly executed with that pitch. And Marley picks up his second strikeout of the day. 2 outs now for Austin Carrillo, who's the first strikeout victim of Marley back in the first. The Oaks already this inning have made Marley throw more pitches than any other inning up to this point. That fastball is perfectly located on the outer half. And it looks like the Saints have got some action going in their bullpen. A reliever just slightly tossing down there already. Marley's been efficient today, and the Oaks haven't hit him very hard, but Saints got someone up already. Marley gets Carrillo in an 0-2 hole here. Know that Carrillo really takes pride in not striking out and also walking. He wants to have more walks than strikeouts coming in today's game. One more strikeout than walk. That strikeout total has gone up after the first. Carrillo just gets a piece of that one, and it gets a pretty big piece of Chase Meagers, who's okay behind the dish, but the home plate umpire is going to wipe off the plate to give the catcher a bit of time. Home plate was pretty shiny already, about as shiny as it could get, but the umpire wanted to give Chase Meagers some time. Marley set for his 0-2. It's a slap foul. Moyer was on the move on that pitch. Marley does a nice job of holding these runners on. As a lefty, he has an advantage, but it's still difficult for some lefties to keep runners close. Not for Marley, though. The Oaks base runners have been taking pretty modest leads at first. So that one's cued down the third base line. It's going to be a very difficult play for Tello. It's not in time, and as third base was vacated, Mac Moyer with the heads-up base running and heads first to third.
Hit the nail on the head right there, Josh. Just heads up base running there for Mac Moyer. Tello having to make a hard run to get to that ball and making the throw. It was a tough play. Carrillo just beating it out and nobody on third. Moyer says thank you very much and takes third.
I was surprised it was even that close at first base. I didn't think Tello had a chance. Didn't even think he was going to make an attempt to throw the ball, but and it goes off the glove of Hammonds into right field. Durfee heads to second as Hammonds falls asleep, and the Oaks have second and third and a 2-1 lead.
Right there, that's just effort there. It's just effort there all around from the Oaks. Carrillo taking no hesitation there and getting to third right away, and Brendan Durfee seeing that Hammonds puts his head down after making the error and doesn't get to the bag right away, and he just puts his head down and runs as hard as he can and makes a nice slide into second base and rewards himself with the effort, and now gives an opportunity for Chris Wright to really do some damage here.
Oh, and Sammy, you speak of effort. A lot of the times against the Oaks, we see a lot of teams take that extra base and take advantage of it and do a lot of great base running, but the Oaks, sometimes we don't see them take advantage, and sometimes we see a lot of outs on the base paths. But first, it's Mac Moyer getting a great read and seeing that Teo has to come in to try and make that play out the nub from Carrillo to get over the third, and then great job by Durfee to turn on the Jets and get over there to second and give a great opportunity for C-Dub.
When we talked about it in yesterday's ball game, you don't have to be fast to be a good base runner. And we know Brendan Durfee isn't the quickest out there, but he sees the extra base and he takes it. Now Chris Wright with a RBI opportunity with 2 outs, and that's in on the hands. Hit over to Raider Tello at third, fires a strong throw across. And that's the third out of the inning. The Oaks played their second run of the ballgame, second unearned run of the ballgame. They lead 2-1 as we head to the middle third of this one. First pitch from Alexander Rivas here in the fourth misses upstairs. Came back late because we're still discussing that playback in the first inning. That was controversially a hit or an error. That one's flown into deep right center field. Moyer drifts over to make the catch. The first out of the fourth inning. It's the second time today that Hammonds has flown out to Moyer out there in center. Alexander Rivas retires the leadoff man for the fourth straight inning. Brings up Roberto Gonzalez. He grounded out to second, back in the second. He shows bunt, bunts it foul.
Something we've seen out of Alexander Rivas this summer. The first inning is a bit of a struggle. Granted, there was an error in the first inning, but it's just he's not looking as sharp out of the gate. But once he gets settled in, as he is now, he's looking really, really good. Generating a lot of weak contact as another ball's hit right at Moyer for the second out of the inning. It's just really, once he settles in, it's just fun to watch him pitch.
Rivas tends to be efficient in those outings, Sammy, and after the 15-pitch first, just 13 pitches in the second, 9 in the third, and now 2 outs on 4 pitches to be in this fourth inning.
And it's something that this bullpen can really use. Just 5 innings is a must at this point with how the bullpen has been taxed the last few games, but if you can get 6, maybe even 7 out of Rivas today, be wonderful.
Well, at this rate, Rivas right now, he's less than 40 pitches. So that one's fouled away. That actually was just over 40. He was at 41 before that pitch, now 42. Rivas looking for his first 1-2-3 inning. 0-2 the count. We might have spoken too soon about Rivas completing 5, 6, or 7 innings because Wes De La Torre has walked down to the Oaks bullpen. As that one's hit softly to second. Zach Schwartzberg throws to first. The first 1-2-3 inning of the ballgame for Alexander Rivas. Might be his last inning of the ballgame. So we head to the bottom of the fourth. 2-1 Oaks. Bottom of the 4th inning starts as Wes Delatorre ramps it up in that Oaks bullpen, so could be the end of the day for Alexander Rivas. I believe his last start was the exact same, 4 innings, 1 run, and then Wes came in to pitch the 5th. Today they're trying that same recipe, but hoping for more success. That 5th inning in that outing got away from Wes. That was the Sunday before the 3-game break for the Oaks. So Drew Smith to lead things off against a new pitcher for the Blues, Jamison Ferraro from Pasadena Community College. He's only thrown 2 innings this summer, going an inning in each of his 2 appearances. He's given up 3 runs in those 2 innings, 1 strikeout, 1 walk, and 4 hits allowed.
Yeah, Josh, I'm pretty positive those runs came against us.
All right. The 0-2 to Smith. Misses away. Wish I could tell you based on a game log on the CCO website like they used to have.
Yeah, I
but
know. They updated and made it worse.
1-2 in the dirt. Like a righty-righty changeup from Ferraro. Did not get the swing and miss that he was looking for. This time it's rolled to the left side and
Not away.
through. Leadoff single for Drew Smith. Past the diving effort of Raider Tello. And the Oaks have the leadoff man on.
Tail looks a little shaken up from that dive.
I think he's just adjusting the pants as he got some dirt go down there.
I don't know, he's holding the wrist. It'd be a big loss for the Saints.
Now it's Dylan Jackson. Takes the first pitch, strike. Jackson drove in the first run for the Oaks on a double off the bottom of the wall in left center. One of the best swings we've seen from DJ this summer. He's really shown off that power stroke a couple of times here. Fake steal by Smith that fools pretty much everyone on the Saints, but Jackson fouls back 0-2. Smith's fake steal attempts got both the middle infielders moving after the first baseman yelled runner, but Smith broke it down. Shut it down, I should say. 0-2 pitch to Dylan Jackson. He's up and out of the zone. 1-2. Ferraro hasn't gone more than an inning in any of his first 2 appearances out of the pen. 1-2 is rolled over softly to shortstop. Won't be able to turn 2, so coming across the diamond is Hammonds to get Jackson at first for out number 1. Ball was hit too softly for Mason Hammonds to go to second, so he made the wise decision to just gun down Jackson at first, who lets Brady Francisco know about the new pitcher before he heads back to the dugout. Francisco grounded out to second in his first at-bat. He's got a runner on second now with just 1 out. Oaks looking to cash in here. That one's off the plate away. Francisco this summer is hitting an even 200. Driven in 3 base runner. That one is inside. 2-0 now. The backup slider there from Ferraro that didn't get back into the strike zone. Francisco in a hitter's count now, looking for something to drive. Ferraro looks to Smith at second time. Comes home. Francisco takes a strike. 2-1. Looked like Brady wanted to be aggressive on that pitch, but thought better of it and decided to hold up. It's a called strike anyway. 2-1 now. There's a breaking ball. It's in there for a strike. 2-2. It's exactly where Ferraro wants to locate that pitch, on the outside corner. Getting a called strike. Francisco goes into protect mode now. 2-2. Smith dances off second, gets an insane jump, and Francisco fouls it off. With 2 strikes, he had to battle, but Drew Smith was nearly at third base before that ball was touched. It's one of the best jumps I've ever seen. 2-2 to Francisco. Sure, Ferraro is going to mix up his timing. This time he doesn't look to second as Francisco rolls that one over to Tello. Long throw over to Hammond at first, and that's out number 2. Raider Tello sure has himself an arm over there at third base. Not afraid to back up near the grass and make that long throw with his arm. Up to Nick Leehey now if the Oaks want to plate Smith after his leadoff single. He stands out there on third base with 2 outs. And there's a wild pitch, and Smith's going to come in to score. Leehey did not have to do anything but watch that pitch bounce in the dirt. And the Oaks take a 3-1 lead.
Breaking ball in the dirt just bounced off of the foot of the catcher Meagers and went, oh man, about felt like halfway up the netting as far as the height went, and it's just no chance for him to make a play there.
And I wonder if Smith had any words for his Duck teammate as he came across the score. 2-0 the count to Nick Leehey, who hit a single back up the middle last inning. After a 1-2-3 first inning for the Oaks, they've plated a run in each of the last 3. 1 in the second, 1 in the third, and now 1 in the fourth. Make it a 3-1 score. Saints did the exact opposite. 1 run in the first, and then scoreless second, third, and fourth. Looks like Wes Del Torre has come down from the Oaks bullpen, so he's going to head into the game to begin the 5th. 2-2 to Nick Leehey. It's a breaking ball that's looped in a shallow left field. It's a long run for Godfrey, but he's able to make the catch. Leehey is retired. The Oaks are able to cash in on their leadoff base runner. A couple of ground outs and then a wild pitch. They lead 3-1. We head to the 5th. It is Wes De La Torre to begin this 5th inning. He's going to face 9-1-2 in the Saints lineup. Jared Quant, who bunts the first pitch off Wes, foul. De La Torre began his summer very strong, starting the Oaks' first game of the season. It was a non-league game where he went 3 perfect innings. Since then, it's been a bit bumpy for Wes, but he's looking to get back on track here. That one misses well off the plate. 1-1 the count. We had this exact scenario last Sunday where Alexander Rivas went 4 innings of 1-run ball, and Wes replaced him in the 5th. Unfortunately for him, 6 runs came across, and that game really got out of control. The Oaks ended up losing 10-1, maybe 11-1. 1-2 the count to Quant. So Wes is looking for a bounce back outing here. His first time on the mound since last Sunday, with the Oaks having a few days off due to the showcase game. And a day off tomorrow as well, so they want to give Wes some work. His 1-2 delivery is in the dirt. It's a good pitch. Throwing a change up there to the lefty Quant, locating it well, but just doesn't get the swing and miss that he was looking for. Shakes off Francisco. Now he's got his sign, set at the belt. Ready for his 2-2. It's grounded softly to the right side. Zach Schwartzberg is there for out number 1.
Good job from Wes there, generating the weak contact from Quant, who's no slouch at the plate. We saw him last night. 3 hits out of the number 9 spot. Very impressive stuff.
This Saints lineup is very deep. A lot of really good hitters, 1 through 9. And one of those hitters is Connor Bradshaw, who's hitting above 350 coming to this game. But he's 0 for 2 today. Strikeout and a ground out to first. It was a tough one-hop play over there at the bag by Brendan Durfee. The Saints do have some action in their bullpen. Fellow with some really nice lettuce. Can't see a number though. It's a breaking ball from West. 1-1 the count. Up number 14. Looks like it's Creighton Hansen warming up.
What a name
For the Saints. And it goes along with and the hair too, just everything. West's 1-1 delivery. It's hit softly to Schwartzberg again. 2 up, 2 down for De La Torre to begin the 5th. Couple of routine ground balls over to Schwartzberg. And the Oaks pitching staff has retired 5 straight. Sorry, he's retired 7 straight actually, going back to the 3rd.
I'd wager that Hansen down there has a bit of a personality. Surely he's quite the character.
Has to be.
If he's not, that'd be very disappointing.
Very disappointing. Max Blessinger up there now. 1 for 2 today. Singled and came around to score in the 1st. He also flew out to right field. It'll probably just be the 1 inning for Wes as Tobias Plotkin heads down to the bullpen for the Oaks. He followed Wes last Sunday, so it's the same script for the Oaks, it looks like. As Blessinger rolls that one over to Leehey. Makes a sliding stop at 3rd, fires across. A 1-2-3 inning for Wes De La Torre. That's now 8 straight retired by Oaks pitching after 3 weak groundouts generated by Wes. We head to the bottom of the 5th. 3-1 Oaks. it is indeed Creighton Hansen to be in the 5th inning for the Saints, who's chucking 93 on the radar gun on his first pitch. It's about as hard as we've seen anyone throw in the CCL this summer. Very over-the-top delivery as well. The Oaks have struggled in the past with high velocity, but against Matt Maloney the other day, guy who throws pretty hard, the Oaks were all over him. Got him out of the game in just 2 innings. Mac Moyer's swinging hard at a 2-0 fastball that he swings through. Hansen from Xavier University.
Saw Bob Huggins have a few words to say about Xavier University a couple months ago.
3-1 the count to Mac Moyer.
Bob Huggins, legendary college basketball coach.
He's had some issues in the past few months, as that one's lifted out to shallow left field. Godfrey calls everyone off and makes the catch.
What an interesting saga that is.
Quite interesting indeed. I don't even know how that's going to end up developing and how that'll be resolved. Now it's Zach Schwartzberg to face Hansen, who this summer has given up 5 runs in 7 innings, so it's a 6.4 ERA, but he's also punched out 12 batters in those 7 innings. It's exactly what you expect from Hansen, seeing what his stuff is. He's getting a lot of strikeouts, but also walking quite a few batters with 6 walks in those 7 innings. He throws his first breaking ball, and Schwartzberg fouls it off of Meagers. Home plate umpire is giving the catcher Meagers a bit of time. Toby Plotkin continues to loosen the Oaks bullpen, so he'll probably get the ball to begin the 6th. Zach Schwartzberg finds himself in an 0-2 hole. Hansen comes home and gets a strikeout. A breaking ball in the dirt, and the catcher throws it away. Chase Meagers did a great job of smothering that breaking ball in the dirt to keep it close, but almost looked like he developed the yips on that throw and just lobbed it over to first and nowhere near the bag. Hammond had to jump to make the catch.
I can't even tell you how that happened from Meagers there. I don't know if the ball slipped out of his hand. I don't know if he rushed the throw. I don't know if he lost his concentration for a second. Well, whatever it was, the Oaks will take it. Get a free base runner here. It's up to Carrillo and Durfee now to do a job here and get Schwartzberg home. One more run on the board.
That's already the 3rd error today for the Saints. The first of which back in the 2nd by the shortstop Hammond to cost the Saints a run. And then the 2nd in the 3rd also cost them a run, as Durfee reached on Hammond's 2nd error of the game.
Josh, as you mentioned that, obviously it's always a good feeling when, as an offense, you're able to take advantage of the other team's errors.
And the Oaks will look to do so once again right here. Schwartzberg on first, and the heart of their order coming up. Carrillo in a 2-1 count. And there goes Schwartzberg. And he stops in between first and second, but he heads back to first, and he'll be in there with Hammonds bobbling the throw down. Very bizarre play all around. Schwartzberg thought he was going to be gunned down and decided to just shut it down. Luckily enough for him, Hammonds couldn't handle the throw at second, and Zach was able to get back to first.
Well, it wasn't a really great throw from Meagers down to second base.
Not away.
Carrillo just a perfect piece of hitting, slapping that one to left field. not trying to do too much on that swing, and Austin Carrillo picks up his second hit of the day.
Now batting, first baseman, number 27.
First and second now for the Oaks, and that brings up Brendan Durfee.
You mentioned it, Josh. A great piece of hitting right there from Austin Carrillo. For me, there's nothing better than a guy going the opposite way with authority. Just taking the pitch where it is and just, boom, driving it the other way, getting himself a base hit.
Really was a beautiful swing there from Carrillo.
And each of these first 4 hitters for the Oaks have done a lot of that this year, hitting the ball the opposite way.
Also don't know what it is, but it just seems from a left-handed batter too, they just have a naturally more aesthetically pleasing swing.
Yep.
Can't explain why. It's just is.
Yeah. Here's a left-handed bat and Brendan Durfee. Hansen's really revving back right now, hitting 94 on the gun.
One of the highest velos we've seen from a pitcher this summer, obviously. Last summer we were used to 95 plus on a regular basis with Andrew Lucas here, but we haven't seen much of that this summer.
When Andrew Lucas was really an outlier. No one else was doing that. It was just Lucas pumping 94 plus every single outing.
Seems that Hansen is a little shaken up after the Meagher's error on the strikeout. Giving up a hit to Carrillo and falling behind Durfee 3-0 here.
That one's in there for a strike, 3-1. He fell behind Carrillo 3-1 too. And Carrillo went after the 3-1 fastball. Now Durfee in a 3-1 hitter's count. Chris Wright waiting on deck. Durfee's gonna look for something to hit here. And he pops it into shallow left field. It's gonna be a tough play for Godfrey, and he's not gonna be able to get there. Schwartzberg stays put at third, having to make sure that ball got down. And the Oaks have loaded the bases with just 1 out.
Oh, and we've seen it so many times this summer. Durfee in a little bit of a skid offensively as of late, as the average has dropped significantly, as he was leading the team in average for quite some time by quite some bit, and now he's dropped below both Moyer and Schwartzberg, and now we've seen him reach via an error and via a little just a gift from the baseball gods, dropping one in fair territory out in no man's land behind third base, and big opportunity here for a big power bat and Chris Wright.
It's a long mound visit for the Saints pitching coach, and during this visit, first base coach Jose is gonna have to get rid of all of his accessories that he's been gifted with all these base runners this inning. Mac Moyer coming over to grab all the shin guards, elbow guards that belong to Zach Schwartzberg, Austin Carrillo, and Brendan Durfee. Schwartzberg over there at third, Carrillo at second, and Durfee at first. 1 away for Chris Wright. Wright today is 0 for 2. That one's outside, 1-0. Of course, this inning only started, this rally I should say only started because of the Chase Meagher's mishap behind the plate after a Zach Schwartzberg strikeout. He fired wildly over to first. As Wright flies this one out to right field. It's going to be a play at the plate as Schwartzberg gets ready to tag. The throw is cut. It actually gets through, and there's a play at the plate, but Schwartzberg is in there.
That was almost a dangerous one, as Meagher swung his knee around to try and cover up the plate, to try and block Schwartzberg's path to the bag, but Schwartzberg does a great job of making a great slide, and nice little insurance run there from Chris Wright.
Yeah, that didn't look too fun there for Schwartzberg. He slid right into the knee. Meagher's didn't really look like he gave Schwartzberg much of a lane, and I'm not sure if the umpire made the call because Schwartzberg touched home, or if he just said right away there's no lane for him to slide. As
this one's flown out to right field, Bradshaw drifts over to make the catch. The Oaks score another one here in the 5th. That's now 1 run in each of the past 4 innings as they lead 4-1. Toby Plotkin enters to begin the 6th inning. We are back for the 6th inning, and very interesting scene here in between innings. The entire bullpen for the Saints erupted out of nowhere, and they were going crazy for a few seconds. I even saw the first base umpire tip his cap towards the bullpen of the Saints. So we have no idea what happened down there, but something electric must have gone down.
This Saints team been having a lot of fun.
That one's hit down the left field line for a base hit. Mears takes a hard turnaround second. He's going to go back to first after Carrillo cuts it off. But yeah, Sammy, this Saints team sure does like each other.
Yeah, they're very loose. They have a lot of fun. Their dugout's always making a lot of noise, staying in the game. Their bullpen. I mean, you don't see a lot of teams around the CCL, the whole bullpen just hanging out, actually in the bullpen the whole game. But they do here with the Saints, and they have a lot of guys having a lot of fun down there. A lot of characters.
The Saints bullpen is not getting much help today. They've allowed a few runs, but a few unearned runs.
3 out of the 4.
3 of the 4 runs allowed by the Saints have been unearned due to a couple of errors by Mason Hammonds and one by the catcher Chase Meagers. Toby Plotkin has the best hitter of the Saints in an 0-2 hole.
It's tough. Tough, Josh. 75% of your runs you've allowed unearned.
It's not great. Not a great ratio.
Not great, Bob.
0-2 is fouled away. Tello is not an easy guy to strike out. Not an easy guy to get out in general. Still hitting over 400 at this point in the summer. He drove in the first run of today's game back in the first inning. Saints have been held scoreless since. The 0-2. This is down and in. 1-2 the count.
With a 400 average, you'd expect the slugging percentage to be a bit higher for Tello. It's only 500. And what that means, he's got 52 at-bats.
There goes the runner Meagers. The throw is into center field. Meagers trips as he tries to head to third, and he stays put at second.
52 at-bats and a 500 slugging percentage. That means that's 26 total bases for Tello. And he's only got he's got 21 hits, so only 5 extra base hits. But can't really complain. 400 average.
Exactly. 2-2. The check swing. Tello's able to hold up, though appeal, but clearly didn't go. And Tello has now run the count full against Toby Plotkin, who this summer has a sub-3 ERA. He's another guy that really hasn't had the benefit of a defense helping him out. 12 runs, just 5 earned. As Plotkin fires home before he can do so, Francisco calls time. Always could be a dangerous thing when a pitcher doesn't recognize the time call and has to just fire it home with no one ready for the pitch. Another 3-2 is located perfectly. Hits softly to third, and Leehey tries to barehand but cannot field it cleanly.
That was the only play he had there. He had to go with the barehand there because with Tello's speed, if he goes to the glove and has to just that slight half second of the transfer from the glove hand to the bare hand would have beat that out. So that should be ruled an infield hit.
Yeah. Infield single for Raider Tello. And the Saints are cooking here in the 6th. First and second, nobody out. And Peyton Godfrey is 0 for 2 today. Could be a bunt situation for the Saints with the lefty-lefty matchup, but they'll let Godfrey swing away as he takes the first pitch breaking ball in there for a strike. No signs being given by the Saints, so they're not even contemplating it, and Godfrey will be up there to hit. With Meagers at second and Tello at first. Nobody out here in the 6th. Plotkin misses inside, 1-1. This summer, Toby Plotkin has done well enough to earn himself a commitment to Cal State Bakersfield. Plotkin was previously at Glendale Community College, so big jump for him. Brady Francisco smothers a pitch in the dirt. Keep the runners at their respective bags. But it's a 2-1 now count now to Preston Godfrey. Godfrey has driven in 10 runs this summer, which is up there amongst the team leaders for the Saints. It's a great jump from Meagers at second, but Brady Francisco's throw is perfect. Meagers is cut down at third. And Toby Plotkin is now a ground ball away from getting the Oaks back in the dugout.
Interesting decision there by Meagers to try to steal there with the left-handed batter Godfrey up. Yes, he got a great jump, but Francisco was just able to tee off as he doesn't have to throw around a right-handed batter.
And Meagers had an extended conversation with his third base and head coach, who told him, I saw him point at his head to, think. First and second, nobody out, and a left-handed bat.
It's just a rule, you can't make the first out at third.
Especially when you're chasing 3. Count's now full on Preston Godfrey. Plotkin just misses with a fastball. It's one of the first times I think we've seen Toby Plotkin hit 90 miles per hour on the gun, and he's kind of staring down the home plate umpire right now. Not too pleased that he didn't get that call, as we're going to have a pinch hitter. Instead of Mason Hammonds, it's going to be Jordan Rogers. He was the starting first baseman in yesterday's contest. And with that pinch hitter, the Saints are going to call an offensive timeout. And they're going to bring everyone over to the third base line to have a discussion. The first three runners have reached here. First three batters have reached here in the sixth, but just 2 men on as Meagers was thrown out at third trying to steal. That means that Raider Tello is on second and Preston Godfrey at first. Tello reaching on an infield single and Godfrey working a walk. Now the pinch hitter Jordan Rogers has 2 men on with 1 out, representing the tying run in this one. Rogers less than 30 plate appearances this summer. Hitting an even 250. He's got a slug near 500, so of his 7 hits, he's been able to pick up a few extra base hits. Plotkin looking for some weak contact here, preferably something on the ground. There's a big hole on the right side of that infield with Schwartzberg holding on Tello at second. As this one's popped into the outfield, shallow center, Moyer on the run. He makes the catch. 2 outs now in this 6th inning. It'll be up to Roberto Gonzalez if the Saints want to cash in here after getting the first 3 men on base. Gonzalez is going to have to deal with a tough lefty-lefty matchup. It's 0 for 2 today. The ground out and a fly out. Plotkin comes home. It's rolled over to the right side. And foul, thankfully for the Oaks, as it somehow chopped over the head of Brendan Durfee. Gonzalez is looking to pick up his first RBI of the summer. One of just, actually looks like he's the only regular in the lineup that has not driven in a run for the Saints. Looking to do so right here with Tello out there at second. Takes one up and out of the zone. Plotkin looking to get out of this jam. Saints have been making him work this inning. Here's 1-1. It's in there for a strike, 1-2. Plotkin showcasing that breaking ball versus the left-handed bat of Gonzalez. Let's see if he doubles up on it here. Would not surprise me if he did. Ready for his 1-2. Misses outside. Might have been a changeup that just got away from Plotkin. Definitely wasn't a breaking ball, but it was also 5 to 7 miles an hour less than his fastball. His 2-2. It's a fastball that hits off the bat of Gonzalez. It was coming up in on the hands, and Gonzalez tried to get out of the way, but it hit the bat. Looked like at first maybe Gonzalez was trying to sell it like it was a hit by pitch, but based on the sound, you could tell that it hit the bat. Still 2-2. Plotkin looking for a strikeout here. He's got his sign. Fires. Gonzalez fouls it away again. Won't go down easily after falling behind in the count 1-2. Now 2-2, and he's fouled off a couple of pitches. Toby's ready again. Looks to second once, comes home. And one misses upstairs. Count runs full. Both base runners will be on the move on this pitch.
Makes this pitch all the more important, as anything in the gap will most likely score 2 and make it a one-run game.
Plotkin needs to bear down right here. His payoff pitch. It's hit back up the middle off the glove of Plotkin. There won't be a play at first. Teller will stay put at third. And the Saints have loaded the bases with 2 outs.
Man, just really unfortunate there as that ball wasn't hit particularly hard. It was just too high for Plotkin to handle, and if he lets it go, most likely Drew Smith or Zach Schwartzberg are going to be there up the middle to make that play.
It's just an instinct there from Plotkin to stick up the glove. And it will be an infield single, but had Plotkin kept his glove down, it probably would have been a ground out. And he's now going to have to get out of a bases-loaded 2-out jam against Jack Hammond, who is 1 for 2 today. Hammond reached an infield single back in the second. He pops this one up, foul territory. Durfee drifts over. It's going to get out of play. 1-1 the count. Tello's on third. Godfrey at second. Gonzalez at first. Gonzalez representing the tying run. The batter Hammond representing the go-ahead run. 4-1 ball game here in the 6th. This one's rolled to the left side. Nick Leehey slides, long throw, and he got him. Big play over there at the hot corner by Nick Leehey to help Toby Plotkin get out of a jam. The Oaks lead 4-1. We head to the bottom of the 6th, looking for more. Another new pitcher for the Saints to begin this 6th inning. That's Murphy Brooks, the right-hander from TCU. Brooks has given up 8 runs in 9 innings this summer. A lot of damage, 12 hits, 5 walks, but 10 strikeouts in those 9 innings. He'll look to miss some bats here against an Oaks team that struck out just twice today. So that one misses down to Dylan Jackson, who drove in a run via a double back in the 2nd and grounded out in the 4th. Takes a breaking ball from Brooks. It's in there for a strike. 1-1 the count. Nobody going for the Oaks, so as expected, Toby Plotkin will get another inning, at least. They appeal to first, and Jackson was not able to hold up on that one. 1-2 the count. See if the Oaks are able to continue this trend of 1 run in each of the past 4 innings. Jackson goes down on strikes to begin the inning. It's the 3rd strikeout of the day for Saints pitching, first since the first out of the 3rd. Brings up Brady Francisco, who's grounded out a couple of times today. He goes after a first pitch breaking ball from Brooks and fouls it back. Francisco doing the catching duties today as the rotation continues to see both Markinson and Francisco in there behind Brendan Durfee, who has really been the everyday guy. We've seen Durfee in the lineup just about every day for the past couple of weeks, but in various positions. Francisco has been in there as the catcher 2 of the past few games. We also saw him come in and play right field the other day as a defensive replacement. When a guy can both catch and play the outfield, it's a lot of versatility out there. Counts 2-2 on Francisco. Brooks comes home. 3-2. I believe the count is full. Scoreboard still has it at 1-1. Francisco looking to win the at-bat. Flies that one into right field. Going back on it is Gonzalez, and it's actually caught by the 2nd baseman, Roberto Gonzalez, out there in shallow right field. 2nd out of the inning.
Now batting, 3rd baseman, number 33.
Brings up Nick Leehey, who made that really nice defensive play to end the top half of the 6th inning after the Saints loaded the bases with 2 away. Leehey had a tough ball to his right that he had to dive for, and he got up and fired a strong throw for out number 3. Picked up a lot of props in that dugout, did Leehey.
Pound for pound, and given the situation, that was probably one of the best defensive plays made this summer for the Oaks. Certainly one of the most clutch.
And with the playoff race coming down to the end, every single play matters. It's a big one there from Leehey. As he rolls this one over to Tello, who spins and fires. 1-2-3 inning for the Oaks. First time they've gone down in order since the 1st. First time they've been held scoreless since the 1st. And we head to the final 3rd of this ballgame. 4-1 Oaks. Toby Plotkin out there for his second inning of work. Facing 9-1-2 in the Saints lineup, Jared Quant to lead things off. Quant today is grounded out a couple of times. Watches a first pitch breaking ball fall off the plate for ball one. Plotkin entered in the 6th inning, replacing Wes De La Torre, who went 1 inning in the 5th. After Alexander Rivas gave up just 1 over his 4 innings of work. Wes fired that 1-2-3 5th, and then Plotkin got himself into and out of trouble in the 6th inning. Saints loaded the bases with 2 outs, but Plotkin was able to get a ground out to Leehey to end the threat. He was also the beneficiary of Brady Francisco throwing out Chase Meagers attempting to steal third base. Plotkin's 2-1. He's in there for a strike, 2-2. DJ Contreras heads down to the bullpen for the Oaks. We were just talking before the game about how it's been a while since we've seen Contreras. Looks like he's getting ready to pitch the 8th inning. Plotkin's 2-2 is swung on and missed. First strikeout for Toby Plotkin. Also the first time that the Saints have gone down on strikes since all the way back in the 1st inning. Rivas picked up 2 Ks in the 1st, and since then, the Saints hadn't struck out until Quant went down on strikes just now. The lineup flips to the top. Connor Bradshaw, the leadoff man. He is 0 for 3 today. Folks have been able to keep him in check. That time, that one gets him, and Bradshaw is frustrated, spiking his bat on the ground. Got his lower back. Bradshaw takes his time walking down to first. It's just a heater that got away from Plotkin. Nothing you can do if you're Bradshaw.
Making a bit of a meal of it.
Not sure why he was so frustrated.
Long stare down towards Plotkin. Plotkin kind of just looked at him like, okay, sorry, bro.
Yeah, and I was wondering if Bradshaw had maybe just been hit a lot in recent games, and I went to go check the stats, and that's actually the first time this summer that Bradshaw's been hit by a pitch. Just doesn't like getting hit, I guess. 1-0 count to Max Blessinger. Surprised that first pitch wasn't ruled a strike. I thought it was. Blessinger swings through this one, but it gets by Brady Francisco. That'll be a passed ball. And Bradshaw heads to second. Blessinger today is 1 for 3. Singled and came around to score in the 1st. He's been retired a couple of times since then.
Plotkin has to be wary around this part of the lineup. This is where it can get pretty hairy here with Blessinger, Meagers, and then Tello in the hole right now.
A lot of dangerous hitters coming up for the Saints. It's 2-1 to Blessinger. Bradshaw with a big lead out there on second base, but doesn't want to make the same mistake Meagers made. 2-2 now. After seeing one of their own gun down, trying to steal third, I'm sure that the Saints coaching staff has told the runners to be more wary at second base and more aware. Bradshaw continues to creep out, though, at second. Plotkin's taking a while to get his sign. Blessinger stays in the box, though. Plotkin comes home with a 2-2, and it's driven out to left field. Carrillo takes a couple steps back, then comes in, and he makes the catch for out number 2. Blessinger just got underneath that one and skied it to left field.
Yeah, put a bit of a jolt into that one, but with how the wind blows here, any ball that's hit really high into left field gets knocked down pretty easily.
Exact opposite of balls that are skied into right field. Those ones tend to take off. Meagers swings over the top of a breaking ball. He's reached in all 3 of his plate appearances today. 2 hits and reaching on an error back in the first. He's also stolen second, but then was stranded. He was actually thrown out trying to steal third after stealing second, so he was not stranded. He was stranded at second back in the first, though. 1-1 the count. Lefty-lefty matchup. Advantage for Plotkin. Comes home and doesn't get the call. That one misses outside. 2-1. Bradshaw continues to get an aggressive secondary lead out there on second base, wanting to make sure he scores on anything hit to the outfield. The Oaks outfield is relatively deep, so a base hit will most likely score Bradshaw. That one's hitting the gap in left center. Long run for Carrillo, but he's able to make the catch. Ball stayed up just long enough for Austin Carrillo to get there. And Toby Plotkin's able to get out of the inning. Oaks lead 4-1. As we head to the bottom of the 7th, it'll be top of the lineup coming up. Bottom of the 7th. It's about to get underway with a new pitcher for the Saints. It's going to be Aaron Traylor from New Mexico State. Locally, though, from Pasadena. Playing for his home team. Saints not afraid to use relief pitchers. I believe this is already their 5th pitcher. Just the 7th inning of this one. Traylor this summer has just thrown 5 innings, 5 appearances, going 1 inning in each of his 5 outings. So we'll probably expect more of the same today, just the 1 inning, and it'll be a 6th guy for the 8th. Traylor's facing the top of this Oaks lineup in Mac Moyer. Moyer today picks up his first hit
In a way.
So that one goes off the glove of Hammond, and Moyer's busting it out of the box. Taking a wide turnaround first, but shuts it down about halfway. Comes back to the bag, and it's the first knock of the day for Mac Moyer. Moyer has reached and came around to score back in the third. This was his first hit of the ball game. And he gets a great jump, heads for second. He'll be in there easily.
Wow.
Stolen base for Mac Moyer. That is his fourth of the summer. And that
almost over slid there.
Yeah.
It was almost as if he was going to go in standing up, not expecting to throw, and then just slid late and nearly slid past the bag. Now Zach Schwartzberg has a runner at second with nobody out. We'll see if they put the bunt sign on here. Schwartzberg is very capable at bunting. Very unselfish guy, as he's showing early. That one's in the dirt, 1-1. Schwartzberg showing already on this 1-1 pitch. Saints corner infielders are reluctant to creep in. And Schwartzberg pulls back on a pitch down. Trailer just wanted to confirm with the home plate umpire, asking him where that missed. 2-1 the count. Schwartzberg showing bunt once again. It's in the dirt once again. 3-1. Sometimes pitchers get rattled when they see that bunt being shown so early. And that's been the case for Trailer, who's thrown 3 straight balls.
Doesn't really make sense either. You would think that just gives you a target.
Schwartzberg even showing on 3-1. Pulls back, and Moyer's excellent jump gets him to third easily. Schwartzberg didn't even have to sacrifice, and Moyer went first to third on his own account with 2 stolen bases. And the Oaks have runners at the corners with nobody out. It's a dangerous part of the Oaks lineup as well, with Austin Carrillo coming up, followed by Durfee and Wright. The 3 of them are the 3 team leaders in RBIs, with Wright leading the team at 14, Carrillo close behind at 13. And Durfee behind the 2 of them with 11 runs driven in this summer.
Runners on the corners, nobody out. This is really a chance for the Oaks to really put this game out of reach.
Couple runs here would definitely make them feel comfortable for the last 2 innings of this one.
And the Saints, as it is, have just no momentum to speak of in this game, and those would really just take the final couple of gusts of wind out of their sails.
Carrillo shows bunt. This one's ruled a strike. Looked like it was a generous corner given. 1-1.
It was well outside, according to the trackman.
It was well outside according to my eyes.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
can see.
Yeah. Moyer
Umpire's been pretty good.
dancing down the line. 1-1's in the dirt. 2-1 now to Carrillo. Moyer's trying to get Trailer to balk here, and he got him to look up, but Trailer does a nice job of keeping his shoulders put. Moving just the head. It's 2-1 to Carrillo. It's outside. 3-1. Nobody warming up for the Saints in their bullpen. Trailer struggling to find it right now. Give up the leadoff single to Moyer. Followed that with a walk to Schwartzberg. He's now behind in the count 3-1 to Austin Carrillo. The dangerous bat, Brendan Durfee on deck. Carrillo hits that one, just foul. Down the first base line. Would have been extra bases. Scored 2 had that ball stayed fair. Now it's a full count for Carrillo. We'll see if they decide to send Schwartzberg here. Carrillo's got great bat-to-ball skills. Schwartzberg does not go, and Carrillo fouls it back. Trailer going with a breaking ball on that 3-2 pitch. Carrillo was able to recognize it just early enough that he was able to slap it foul. And we'll do another 3-2. This time Schwartzberg runs, but it's ball 4. That time Trailer doesn't get the call as it misses away. The bases are loaded with nobody out. A dangerous bat coming up for the Oaks in the form of Brendan Durfee. Durfee has been the guy for the Oaks this summer. In a bit of a 3-game skid, but even with that, still has his average over 300. And he's looking to drive in a couple runs right now. Hits that one to second base to Gonzalez. Double play ball on to second for 1. First in time for a double play. A run does come across the score, but Brendan Durfee's going to be frustrated with himself that it is just 1 as he rounds into a 4-6-3 double play.
Good effort from Durf there. Really busted it down the line. Thought he was going to be thrown out by a few steps with his speed, but really put his head down and got down the line quickly. And to me, I thought he was safe, but that could be just some biased eyes here.
Definitely made it a lot closer than we were expecting. Now it's up to Chris Wright. If the Oaks want to put up a crooked number here. Zach Schwartzberg on third. Wild pitch, of course, in play as well. That is how the Oaks scored their 3rd run of the ballgame back in the 4th via the wild pitch. Wright already in an 0-2 hole, lines that one up the middle, and it's going to be caught in center field by Max Blessinger.
No, no way. That ball got down. That ball came out of the glove.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that was 100% trapped. Let's see the ball on the ground.
Yes, that one should be a base hit for Chris Wright. And Coach Solis is already out to make his case. And the first base umpire wants him to stay in foul territory, I guess. And even though Coach Solis went all the way out there, he sends him back to the dugout. And the umpires are going to talk about it. Chris Wright is standing on first base. He is the only one in the field of play right now. Everyone else has gone back to their respective dugouts. We've talked so often about how these discussions very rarely result in an overturned call. But that ball clearly was on the ground in center field. And no catch. The correct call is made, and Chris Wright picks himself an RBI knock. There's going to be some frustration from that Saints dugout, and their head coach is out to have a discussion. And Max Blessinger also is having some words with the umpire, the center fielder. Blessinger has to be careful that he doesn't get himself into trouble as he's having the conversation with the umpire.
It wouldn't be the first time we've seen people from the Saints organization thrown out of this ballpark. And Blessinger better watch himself.
Good job by the second base umpire, just sending Blessinger out to center, not allowing him to continue his discussion with the other two umpires.
Yeah, with that, you can understand Blessinger's frustration. You know, it's been a long day. It's hot out there. You know, he thinks that he made the play, and it's really, really good from the umpire there just to tell him, just get away from the situation. Just don't say anything you're going to regret. There's no need for that. Just really good job of the umpire just de-escalating the situation.
And there's still some more shouting from the Saints dugout, and their coach, we've seen him argue in the past. He's usually very calm when he talks to the umpires, but this is about as animated as we've seen him. And first base umpire getting animated, talking back to him, letting him know what the situation, what's going on. But he's continuing to voice his frustrations. He's got to be careful here. Surprised that they're letting this conversation last this long.
I saw him make a motion at one point, I think making the argument that the umpires should have kind of looked to one another before the call was made instantly by the first base umpire. But in that instance, it's the first base umpire's call, and Coach Solis is allowed to ask them. The third base umpire is also watching the play because it was a 2-out situation, and he can watch that fly ball. He doesn't have to look for a runner tagging up or anything like that in that situation. So he asked the third base umpire what he saw, and he saw that Blessinger trapped that ball in center field.
I just don't know why this conversation is just still going on. How is it lasting so long? They already overturned the call on the field. You got to send the coach back to the dugout or throw him out if he's going to stay out here arguing this long. This is just interrupting his own pitcher at this point.
Well, we know he likes to have lengthy conversations with the umpires, so.
Well, no ejections take place. Coach goes back to his dugout. Umpires go back to their spots. And the game will continue after a lengthy break in play. So Chris Wright ends up getting himself an RBI knock, his 15th run driven in this summer, which leads the team. And the Oaks put up their first crooked number of the ball game. 2 runs now here in this 7th inning. Drew Smith rolls the first pitch into the Oaks dugout. Starting pitcher Alexander Rivas catches it and causes the Oaks dugout to get excited. DJ Contreras, who had stopped throwing, gets back up to resume. So he's been sitting for a very long time. 0-2 on Drew Smith, who scored 2 runs today. One for 3 on the ball game. The 0-2 from Trailer hits Drew Smith in the helmet.
Second time this summer.
That one nearly went over the head of Smith, and it clips the top of his helmet. I thought that it might have hit the bat that was behind his head, but no appeal from the Saints dugout. So it's a 0-2 hit by pitch for Smith, who reaches, and the Oaks have first and second with 2 outs for Dylan Jackson. Jackson today is 1 for 3. Picking up an RBI on that double back in the 2nd. Gets out of the way of this one. Oaks have taken control of this one, 6-1 lead. Jackson with a chance now to really put the game out of reach. An extra base hit here. Trailer looks to second a couple of times before coming home and missing upstairs. 2-1. The Oaks put up 1 run in the 2nd, 1 run in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th before going scoreless in the 6th, and now they've scored 2 here in this 7th inning. That one's in there for a strike. 2-2 to Jackson. For the Saints, they put up 1 in the top of the first and have been held scoreless since. Been 3 pitchers for the Oaks up to this point, with DJ Contreras to be the 4th. The 2-2 to Dylan Jackson. Runs the count full. Both runners will be getting a head start. Dylan Jackson with an extra base hit here would pick up a couple of more RBIs. Payoff pitch from Trailer is popped foul in play. There'll be enough room for Tello to make the catch. And the Oaks strand the bases loaded. Not before they pick up 2 more.
2 on, Josh.
Sorry, they strand first and second. But they pick up 2 more runs. They lead 6-1 as we head to the 8th, and DJ Contreras will be in the ballgame. Top of the 8th inning begins with Toby Plotkin still on the mound. Contreras continues to warm in the bullpen for the Oaks. And it's Plotkin to begin the 8th. Plotkin will face 4, 5, 6 in this Saints lineup with Raider Tello to lead things off. Could be a situation where they'll just let Plotkin face the first 2 hitters as Godfrey on deck is the lefty, and then switch it up after that, or they'll just let Toby go until he gets into some trouble. Had some difficulty getting out of his first inning, which was the 6th, getting out of a bases loaded jam, but in the 7th, other than a hit by pitch, it was pretty painless, except for Connor Bradshaw, who was probably in some pain after getting hit by that pitch. 1-2, the count to Tello. He lines that one to right field for a hit. It's a good piece of hitting there from Tello, who let the changeup get to him and drove it to right field for a knock.
Really good piece of hitting there. Just let that ball travel, and takes it out of the catcher's glove and just shoots it into right field.
And if you're the Saints, that's the formula for coming back. Got to pass the baton, and a leadoff base runner is the perfect start for them. Plotkin misses to Preston Godfrey, who today is 0 for 2 with a walk. Struck out back in the first. One of just 3 strikeout victims for the Saints today. He's ahead of the count 2-0 against Plotkin. Another base runner here would most likely end the day for Toby Plotkin. Got a dangerous bat and Jordan Rogers waiting on deck. This one's hit on the ground to short. Textbook double play ball as Smith flips to Schwartzberg, throws on over to first for a double play. Great job by Toby Plotkin to get some contact on the ground, and nice job by the Oaks middle infield to turn 2.
Just textbook right there. Not a sharply hit ball, but Smith knows how much time he has. Flips it to Schwartzberg.
And the Saints dugout has just been warned. First base umpire just let the coach know. Just want to let you know, as the head coach, you got to take care of your team. That's exactly what he said. So the home plate umpire takes out his paper to write down that there's been a warning given.
Formal. A formal warning.
Formal warning. That's the second time we've seen that given to the Saints.
I don't know if he said a formal warning, but
And the other time against the Saints, wasn't it after the first batter of the game? He gave a formal warning.
yeah.
And then the Saints were just playing with fire the rest of that game. Might see something similar here. They had a couple players thrown out of that one.
It's probably just a sarcastic comment made.
Yeah. And after that long conversation, the umpires' patience have waned, and they were not having it. 1-0 to Jordan Rogers is up and out of the zone, 2-0. It'd be great if Plotkin could get through this 8th inning and then just have Contreras start fresh in the 9th. Looking to face the minimum here. Falling behind 3-0 to Rogers. Tello's leadoff single was erased after Plotkin was able to get Godfrey to ground into the 6-4-3 double play. Rogers takes a strike. He was a quarter of the way down the line. Coming all the way back. Tells the umpire, that's my bad. But yeah. 3-1 now.
You have to do that for political purposes.
Yeah, exactly. Now he fouls it away, 3-2.
Didn't want to let the umpire what was really on his mind there.
Yeah, well now on a 3-2 pitch, anything close, he's going to have to swing. Plotkin doesn't like the baseball he was given. Throws it back to the dugout, finds one he likes. A new pitcher once again for the Saints to begin this 8th inning is Hayden Lewis from the University of Arizona. Lewis has been excellent this summer. Just 2 earned runs allowed in 10 innings. He has dealt with a bit of traffic. 10 hits in those 10 innings to go along with 5 walks, but has also struck out 14, so he's able to get himself out of those jams. Counts to even up at 1 on Francisco. Hits that one to shallow right field off the end of the bat. Gonzalez goes back, and he makes the catch and is able to evade a sliding Connor Bradshaw. The first out of the 8th inning.
Now batting, third baseman, number 33, Nick Leehey.
Brings up Nick Leehey, who's 1 for 3. Also made a game-saving play over there at third base. The Saints had bases loaded and 2 outs in the 6th inning. It was a sharply hit ground ball down the third base line that Leehey was able to slide over and make the accurate throw across and make the out, as Coach Solis making a nice barehanded play. Leehey's hit back in the 3rd was a single up the middle. He lines that one to 3rd under the glove of Raider Tello.
Oh, delay.
Leehey reaches with 1 out.
Sammy? Hit her in there.
Zero to hit on the scoreboard.
What are your thoughts, though?
It's a tough play.
I personally, I would say that's an error, but I'll give him a hit. He's our guy.
Yeah, I'm going to go hit.
Sammy said a hit, Cameron.
Home cooking, man. I want to get my boy a hit.
Yeah.
Get that batting average up.
That's the 2nd hit of the ball game
Tough play.
for Leehey.
Backhanded. Cameron, you can't make a play straight up. You're going after a guy that can't make a backhanded play. Kind of like let's know the situation here. No, you're not making that play, Cam.
Yes.
No, you're not.
You know how hard that was hit? 75 miles an hour.
That one's inside, 2-0. Relievers for the Saints are really touching up on that radar gun. Lewis, 91 and 92 on these 2 pitches to Moyer, who scored a couple of runs today. Just 1 hit, though. 2 stolen bases. And there's his 2nd hit of the ball game.
Went away.
Looped into center field. Back-to-back knocks for the Oaks. Brings up Zach Schwartzberg. He's struck out a couple of times today, but also scored a couple of runs, because on that 2nd strikeout, he reached on a drop 3rd strike and came around to score, and then walked last inning before coming around to score. Now he's up there with 1st and 2nd and 1 away. Delivery from Lewis is a breaking ball that Schwartzberg swings over the top of. Lewis has been in these situations before. 15 base runners allowed in 10 innings, but just 2 runs coming across. Looking to pitch out of a jam once again. Another breaking ball to Schwartzberg. Just locating that pitch well this at-bat. He's gotten 2 swings and misses on the pitch in a very similar location. Now he's ready for a 1-2 delivery. That's hit off of his foot and able to step on 2nd and throw across.
Wow.
One of the weirder double plays you're going to see. Very impressive over there at shortstop by the new infielder Roberto Gonzalez, who switches from second to short.
1-6-3.
And we head to the ninth. Oaks leading 6-1. DJ Contreras out there to begin the ninth inning in hopes of shutting it down for the Oaks. They lead 6-1 here. After the Saints got one in the top of the first, they've been shut down with 7 scoreless innings since. Contreras looking to end the ball game against 8-9-1 in the Saints lineup. Jack Hammond to lead things off. One the count. Hammond is 1 for 3 in today's ball game. Couple of ground outs. Good hands by Francisco to pick that one. Two one from Contreras, fouled back. 2-2. If the Saints want any chance here in the ninth, they're gonna need Hammond to get on. It's a good spoil by him to flip that one to the parking lot and actually off of the Saints bus. 2-2. Pitch from Contreras. Is hit over to Drew Smith, that's short. He has to fire across and Hammond beats it. Smith took a little too much time letting that ball come to him, and after realizing that, he had to fire it sharply across the diamond and couldn't get Hammond. Hammond reaches on his second infield single of the ballgame. That one's rolled over to first.
Ooh.
Durfee can't handle it. He gets over there in time, though, to get the one out of Quant. And in a 6-1 game, the Oaks will
It's fine.
surely take that.
Just get one out. That would have been a pretty remarkable play by Brendan Durfee if he was able to make it there. His momentum was carrying him into first base. It would have taken a throw to second and a tag to complete the double play.
Now it brings up the top of the lineup. And Connor Bradshaw, who goes after the first pitch and hits it foul. Bradshaw today is 0 for 3. He was hit by a pitch in his last at-bat. Looking to get a rally going for the Saints. Big jump for Hammond at second and no throw over to third base. Leehey not even making an effort to cover the bag. No need in a 6-1 ball game.
Shouldn't go down as a stolen base either for Hammond.
It'll just be a defensive indifference as Hammond advances to third. That one's just driven down the right field line, but foul. One and two the count to Bradshaw after a long foul ball. And the 1-2 delivery is a check swing. They'll appeal to third. He did not go. Bradshaw able to hold up. 2-2. Comes a 2-2 delivery from DJ Contreras. And it's flown into left field to Austin Carrillo. Should be deep enough to score a run. Carrillo throws it in. No chance to get Hammond. The Oaks will happily trade the run for the out, though, as they're now 1 out away from a victory. Two strikes there. Bradshaw doing everything he can to just put the ball in play. Can't get himself a knock, but picks himself up an RBI. And the last hope for the Saints is Max Blessinger, who has to duck out of the way of that one. That one would have hit the bull as it got away from Contreras. Two 2-0 to Blessinger.
Hit the what? I'm sorry?
Hit the bull. Like, no, throw it at the bull. Bull Durham.
I've never seen that, actually.
Oh, really?
I swear.
Oh, I think this might be it's up there as my favorite baseball movie. Shocked for a guy like you.
That's the one with Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
and
Tim Robbins.
Tim Robbins,
Yeah.
I know what it's about. I've seen parts of it, but never sat down and watched the whole thing.
3-1 now to Max Blessinger. 1 for 4 today.
How many baseball movies is Kevin Costner in?
Yeah, all of them. 3-1, misses.
Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, For the Love of the Game, which is my favorite one, just because there's Vince Scully.
Vince Scully, of course.
He's not in
Benchwarmers. What? We're talking about Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
No, Kevin Costner baseball movies. Drafted as a football movie.
unbelievable.
Not locked. Chase Meagers.
Yellowstone's not even a movie.
1-0 to Chase Meagers. who's reached 3 times today, a couple of knocks.
Was your life a movie this weekend, Cameron? Yeah.
That one's in the dirt. It gets past Francisco. Blessinger will cruise into second.
His life's a movie. Sandlot 2. That's Cameron Day.
2-0 the count to Chase Meagers. He's put a few nice swings in the baseball today. Perhaps his best swing was that line out to end the 7th. It was caught by Carrillo and left. 3-0 the count to Meagers. Contreras does not want to make this interesting, but he's got the heart of the Saints lineup coming up. As Meagers goes after the 3-0 pitch, it stays fair, and the Oaks are going to win. A bounce back win for the Oaks, who took control of the game in the 3rd inning and never gave away the lead. 6-2 is the final. It was a solid effort from the bullpen, with Alexander Rivas earning himself player of the game honors, going 4 innings, allowing 1 run. The Oaks take on the Barons in each of their next 4 ball games. It'll be 2 in Compton, 2 here, and Tuesday will be here at home at Cal Lutheran against the Academy Barons. Oaks are looking to get hot before this playoff race heats up even more. They've won 3 out of 4, and they're looking to take that momentum into their series with the Barons this week. And as always, I've been Austin Gregory, Sammy Holladay. I'm Josh Mechanick, and we will talk to you guys on Tuesday.